I paid for my sister's college while starving myself. Then she called me a failure. That was the moment I realized I wasn't her brother anymore. I was just her wallet. Her invisible safety net. The one she laughed at when I had nothing left to give. I'm not sure when it all started really. Maybe it was the first time I said yes when I should have said no. Back then I worked at a grocery store during the day and did janitorial shifts at night. I'd come home around midnight, collapse on the couch and eat whatever was left in the fridge. Usually a slice of stale bread and some peanut butter. My roommate used to joke that I was the only person who could make peanut butter feel depressing. I didn't mind. I was saving up for my own place. A small studio apartment. Nothing fancy, but something that was mine. A quiet space where I could finally breathe, maybe even start college part-time. But then my sister, Emily, got accepted into a private university. Everyone acted like she'd won the lottery. My mom cried. My dad raised a toast. Emily walked around the house like she already had a degree in hand. I remember sitting at that dinner, pushing pasta around on my plate, calculating in my head how much tuition like that would cost. They didn't ask me right away. No, they let it sit for a few weeks. Dropped hints. Subtle guilt. Emily's so smart, but college is expensive these days, Mom would say, looking at me like I was supposed to do something about it. Dad would sigh dramatically while looking over bills, muttering things like, "We'll make it work. We always do, somehow." Emily, meanwhile, never said a word. Not until she cornered me in the kitchen one night, arms full of brochures and a nervous smile on her face. "I know it's a lot to ask," she said, "but if you could help just for the first year, I'd pay you back." I swear. I wanted to say no. I really did. But she was my little sister. I remembered helping her with her homework, walking her to the bus stop, defending her from bullies in middle school. I remembered the kid who used to bring me macaroni necklaces on my birthday. So I said yes. At first it was just the deposit. Then it was books. Then rent. Then groceries. And suddenly my dream of getting my own place. Gone. The savings I'd built up from sleepless nights and skipped meals? Gone too. I started skipping breakfast entirely, eating dollar ramen for lunch and stealing day-old pastries from the bakery dumpster behind work. I told myself it was temporary, that it would all pay off, that Emily was doing something big, something that mattered. That was the lie I repeated every time I went to sleep hungry. But the truth? Emily never once looked back. All she saw was what I could give. Emily adjusted to college life faster than I imagined. Within weeks, her social media was filled with smiling selfies from her dorm, latte art from cafes near campus, and photos at weekend parties. She looked happy, carefree. I was proud of her, I guess. But every time I scrolled past her new photos, while eating a half-soggy sandwich on my 15-minute break, something started to ache in my chest. A feeling I didn't recognize at first. It was resentment. Not because she was in college, but because she acted like I didn't exist. Like all of this was hers by right. Not because I was quietly starving so she could afford it. He never asked how I was. Never asked if I was sleeping, if I needed help, if I was okay. Instead, every few weeks I'd get a message. "Hey, rent's due. Books this semester are crazy expensive, weary face. My roommate's parents paid for her spring break. Any chance?" First I tried to joke. "Maybe you could get a part-time job?" She responded with, "I already have a full-time job. It's called being a student." That one stung. Especially coming from someone whose student life included bottomless brunches and salon visits. All paid for by the guy who hadn't seen a doctor in 2 years because he couldn't afford insurance. My parents weren't any better. Anytime I brought up my situation, they hit me with the same line. Family takes care of each other. But the family part always seemed to mean me. And the takes care part meant them. One night I got home from work around 1 a.m. My legs were shaking. I hadn't eaten since morning. I opened my fridge and saw half a bottle of mustard and a wilted lettuce leaf. That's when I broke. I sat down on the kitchen floor and just stared at nothing. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, starving, exhausted, and invisible. The next week, Emily called me out of the blue. Not to check on me. Not to thank me. But to tell me she was thinking about switching majors and might need to extend school for a year. I asked, "Will that mean more tuition?" She giggled. "Don't worry, you're doing great. I'll make you proud." Proud? Proud didn't keep me fed. Proud didn't pay my overdue phone bill. Proud didn't make my boss stop cutting my hours because I looked like a zombie every shift. I said nothing, because I didn't want to be the bad guy. But the final straw didn't come until winter break. That's when it all snapped. The dinner that changed everything. Winter break came, and with it, the annual family dinner. The one night a year when everyone came together, pretended everything was fine, and acted like we weren't slowly drowning in resentment. Emily had just finished her 3rd semester. He came home glowing, nails done, new coat, new phone. I watched her walk through the door and hug our parents while I stood in the background, unnoticed as usual. Dinner was awkward. I barely touched my plate. I had eaten a slice of toast earlier and didn't want to waste more food if no one planned to ask how I was doing. The conversation revolved around Emily as always. Her grades, her friends, her future internship. Then she mentioned that her roommate's family had gifted her a car. Can you believe it? Some people are just so lucky. Then she looked at me. You should think about getting me something practical too, she joked. Maybe a used car. Nothing crazy. I mean, you've been working 2 jobs forever, right? She laughed. Everyone else laughed too. I didn't. Something inside me cracked. He thought it was funny. A joke. Like my exhaustion, my sacrifices, my literal hunger were just punchlines at a dinner party. I forced a smile, but I couldn't stop the words that came out. Maybe you could get a job yourself. The room went still. Emily blinked. Excuse me. I said maybe you should get a job. Like the rest of us. She rolled her eyes. Wow. Someone's grumpy. Then she added with a smirk. Don't be bitter just because I'm going somewhere with my life. That was it. The moment. The sentence. Don't be bitter just because I'm going somewhere with my life. I stood up. My fork clanged against the plate. My parents gasped. You think I'm bitter? I asked, voice shaking. Because I'm not in college? Because I don't post latte pics on Instagram. I looked right at Emily. My life isn't moving because I've been carrying yours. She opened her mouth to speak, but I didn't let her. I've been starving myself for 2 years so you could eat sushi every weekend. I haven't bought new shoes in 14 months, but you've got designer boots. Dad tried to cut in. Let's not ruin the night. Ruin it? I snapped. It's already ruined. I sacrificed everything, for her. And what do I get? Then I turned to Emily again. You call me a failure. Like I'm nothing. Like I'm beneath you. Her face paled. I didn't mean. No, you meant it, I said. You think I'm a loser because I don't have a degree. But guess what? You only have one because I gave up my life for it. Silence. Tight. Heavy. And then, my mom whispered. She's your sister. That's what family does. I laughed. No. That's what martyrs do. And I'm done being one. I picked up my coat and walked out. No one stopped me. The fallout, and the freedom. I didn't sleep that night. I lay on the couch in my freezing apartment, still wearing my coat. My stomach growled, but I didn't care. For the first time in 2 years, I felt something stronger than hunger. Relief. But it didn't last long. The next morning, my phone lit up like it was on fire. First it was Emily. Thanks for humiliating me. You made dinner so awkward. I hope you're proud. After everything I've been through, this is how you treat me? Then came the guilt. You're just going to abandon me now? You know I can't afford tuition without you. You really want me to drop out? I didn't respond. Not to a single message. Then came my parents. My mom called, her voice sharp and cold. You need to apologize. To who? I asked. To your sister. She's devastated. She was crying all night. How could you walk out like that? I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just said, because I'm done being used. My dad called later, angrier than I'd ever heard him. You're punishing your sister for your own failures. That word again. Failure. It had become their favorite tool. A way to guilt me into silence. But this time it didn't work. She's not my responsibility, I said. She's 21 years old. She can work. She can budget. Like the rest of us. We raised you better than this. No, I said. You raised me to sacrifice myself. And I finally stopped. A week passed. And then Emily's landlord called. Apparently she told him I was her guarantor. That I'd been the one paying her rent. Which to be fair had been true. But not anymore. She said you'd be covering January's rent like usual, he told me. I laughed. Out loud. Not anymore. So, who's paying? I paused. Ask her. A few days later, Emily showed up at my apartment. Uninvited. Unannounced. She looked nothing like the confident girl from Instagram. Her eyes were red. Her hair messy. Her clothes wrinkled. You can't just cut me off like this, she shouted as soon as I opened the door. Actually, I can. You don't get it. I'm going to lose my apartment. I might have to move back home. I crossed my arms. Sounds like a natural consequence. You're supposed to help me. You're my brother. I stared at her for a long moment. Then I stepped forward, voice calm and cold. I wasn't your brother these last 2 years. I was your bank. And the second I couldn't pay, suddenly I was a failure. She tried to cry. Big dramatic sobs. The kind that used to work. You're being cruel. No. I'm being honest. You're supposed to help family. Family is a two-way street, I said. And you've been going in one direction this entire time. I closed the door. For the first time I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. A week later I found out Emily had started a GoFundMe. The title? Blindsided by Family. Help me stay in school crying face. I almost choked. In the description she wrote, I was unexpectedly cut off by the only person helping me. My dream of becoming a professional is slipping away. Anything helps sparkling heart. Her friends flooded the page with supportive comments. You've got this queen, 2 hearts. Family can be so toxic, pensive face. Donated $10. You deserve better. But the money? Barely trickled in. Turns out, when you've never done anything for anyone else, people stop rushing to save you. My aunt called me 2 days later. I heard what happened, she said. Is it true you were paying for everything? All of it. She went silent for a moment. Wow, she said. She told us you just helped a little. I laughed bitterly. She always tells the story that makes her look good. Then came the final blow. My parents showed up at my door. Literally. Knocked on it. I opened to find my mom already mid-sentence. You need to help her. She's maxed out a credit card in our name. We can't cover it. My dad looked like he hadn't slept in days. You're the only one with stable income, he said. Please. Just this once. I looked at them. These people who had raised me. Who had turned me into their fixer. Their crutch. Their plan B. No. She's your sister. And I'm your son. I said. But you never protected me from her. You expected me to take it all. The work, the debt, the disrespect, and still say thank you. They said I was cold. That I'd changed. They were right. I had changed. I finally saw what they were doing. And I chose myself. It's been a year. Emily never finished college. She moved back home and spends most of her time online, still trying to look like she has it all together. But the likes have slowed. The smiles look forced. My parents no longer call. They made their choice. I made mine. Took everything, my energy, my youth, my dreams, to support someone who never even said thank you. But I walked away with something better. Self-respect. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is stop being kind to people who treat your sacrifice like an obligation.